Hello, and welcome to this third Chalk Talk in the series on Agile data integration. Now, if you remember from the second Chalk Talk, we started with the first step in a typical data integration process, which was to find the data sources and targets. In the second step, it's often required to get a better understanding of the data and get familiar with the data that is going to be required for this particular project. And so one of the basic questions that an analyst might ask is, in looking at the data, is can I trust this information? Can I trust this data that I'm looking at? Are there any data quality issues? Is it standardized? Is it complete? Is it accurate? And what this typically requires is the application developer working closely with the analyst to take a closer look at the data. The application developer may need to create a data dump into a spreadsheet or a sandbox environment, and then the analyst will take a look at this information or data in a spreadsheet, or if they're somewhat proficient in SQL, create a SQL script to query the sandbox environment and profile the data that way. All of this is somewhat manually intensive and requires several iterations back and forth between the developer and the analyst to really get a clear understanding of the data sources. And it requires writing profile scripts that have typically been written already for other data sets. Now, the analyst also needs to go back to the business if data quality issues are discovered and make some recommendations and to see if this is sufficient to fix these data quality issues and still meet the business requirements. What is too often the case is when looking at some data sources, the data may be too corrupt in some fields or attributes, which means that they need to go back to the previous step and potentially identify other data sources that will still meet the business requirements. All of this, iterations, manual steps, having to go back to a previous step, all this is non-value add activity in the eyes of the customer, which is the business. And so there are some ways to improve this. Namely, if we can empower the analyst to go back into this browser-based tool that we introduced in the first step and profile the data without the help of a developer, that would certainly cut down on the iterations and the analyst can do things much more efficiently. So let's see how we can do that using Informatica. Within this Informatica Analyst tool, it's completely browser-based, doesn't require anything to be installed on the client. The analyst can now look at the column attributes, some descriptive statistics such as uniqueness, whether there's null values, the format, the data type, min and max values. In this case, we're looking at some customer data. They can look to see if the customer data is unique. Suppose they want to determine if that's the primary key. They can also look at the frequency of values occurring or certain patterns in terms of formats or other types of statistics. You can see if there's some null value violations or to check if a particular column such as a date or address meets a standardized format. And if you want to drill down on these values or summary statistics, you can drill down on that and take a closer look at the data and further drill down using filtering. Now let's bring this to life with a demo. So here I'm going to look at some customer information. I'm going to create a profile, column profiling. I will select the customer and give the profile a name. It's all wizard driven. I can select or change the default sampling options and profiling options, but we'll take the defaults. And before I profile the data, I can actually apply a filter to this. In this case, I'm only interested in customers within the United States. So let's filter the data based on the country code. And before I save and run this, I can actually preview the filter results. And here we see that, yes, in fact, we are bringing in only the customers in the USA. So we'll save that, run that. And we can see the summary statistics off to the left. We can also look at the values. We see certain patterns occurring for this address component. And we can look at the, observe that there's some null values, quite a few, in fact. So let's drill down on those. And at the bottom, we can preview all the rows or rows that have null values. And we can further filter this to get a better idea of why this may be occurring. So we'll apply a filter. We will run that, and we can preview the data. And we can continue to drill down and modify the filter until we're satisfied. And that concludes the third Chalk Talk in the series on Agile Data Integration. Thanks once again for joining us.